What's going on, y'all? First and foremost, Happy New Year. This is my first video of the new year, so hope things are starting off well for you on your end so far. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty, and here I primarily talk about fragrances, but we also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well. So I need you to do me a favor, y'all. If you're interested in that type of content or those type of videos, go ahead and consider subscribing below, then make sure you hit the bell to stay notified anytime I post any new content. And today I have a fragrance review for you that released last year and received some mixed reviews, to say the least. And that fragrance is none other than Viktor Rolf Spicebomb Dark Leather. So y'all know how this one goes. As always, we'll talk a little bit about how this fragrance smells, we'll move into performance, versatility, and then we'll finish with my final thoughts, and I'll let you know if this one's worth picking up. So, if that sounds good to you? Let's jump right into it. I picked this one up a few weeks back, y'all, and with the holidays, I never even got a chance to open it, so let's unbox this one together. Okay, so jumping right into the presentation, y'all, really nice looking bottle. It's this matte black at the leather, or faux leather, I'll say, strip across the middle with the name of the fragrance on it. And yeah, just really nice, simplistic, and of course goes with the name of Dark Leather, right? So definitely digging that. And I will say, I'm not sure if you all have had the problem with Spicebomb bottles in the past, but for me at least, I know I've had a few that would leak, after you start to use them, start to spray them. They kind of get that, little liquid buildup around that area. So, of course, haven't sprayed this one yet. Don't notice anything there now, but actually, let's go ahead and waste a few sprays right now. So, oh yeah, it's been a minute, but it's coming back to me now, y'all. So for those that have been following my channel for a while, picked up a decant of this one last year, shortly after it released. Ran through that one pretty quickly and picked up another shortly after, so pretty familiar with this scent. So moving into the notes with this one, y'all, you get some black pepper and nutmeg in the opening. Then through the mid, you pick up some incense and also have cinnamon. And in the base of this one, you have that dark leather note and tobacco. Okay, y'all, moving into how this one actually smells, I feel like this is one of those situations where the notes that are listed actually align pretty well with, what you pick up, or at least with what I pick up from my nose. So with the initial opening, after you spray this one on, really nice warm spice, you get a blast of that, right? So that nutmeg, and even more than that, the cinnamon for me, really nice. And then, like I said, there's almost like a sweet, spice to it. So almost reminds me a little bit more of cardamom, but maybe it's a combination of those two coming together. But nonetheless, either way, really, really great opening, and it's one that only gets better as it dries down. And as this one dries down, y'all, you start to get that incense, which I think is a really nice addition. You start to get, that smoky, dark, mysterious vibe, and it just smells really, really good. In addition to that, of course, you also get that dark leather note. And for me, I think the dark leather in here is done very well. It's very smooth, it's refined, and to me, that makes it very wearable and very approachable, at least for a leather fragrance. So all in all with this one, y'all, you get a really nice, warm, spicy fragrance that has just enough of that leather, that incense, and that tobacco to really make it interesting. But again, it's balanced enough to still be very approachable and very wearable, and that's something that I personally appreciate. Now, we know this one smells great. I know you all may be thinking and may be wondering, how does it perform? And that's the fun part. But moving into performance, this is where you'll find a lot of mixed reviews and opinions online, with more negative than positive. And, I've seen a lot of people bash this one, saying it doesn't project well, doesn't have great longevity, that they can barely pick up on the smell at all after, the first half hour or so. And, that's likely may be true, for their experience. But as I always recommend, you have to try fragrances for yourself. Fragrance is so subjective, right? Between, your nose, and your nose being completely different from the individual that you may be watching or the review that you may be reading, as well as your skin, right? Your skin chemistry, how it responds, how it reacts to different fragrances is also very different. So I always encourage you to definitely check a fragrance out, and, even including me as a reviewer, always check a fragrance out for yourself, right? You get an idea of how it works, how it, smells, how it projects off of your skin, and then make that final determination of whether you need to pick it up or whether you maybe want to pass on it. But for me personally, in this situation, performance has been great. Like I said, for the most part, most of my wearings have been through the decants that I went through at this point, and each time I wore the fragrance, I'd say I easily got 6, 7+ hours, which to me is just fine. And it actually projected pretty well. I was able to pick this one up with, catching whiffs of it for, hours on end, and actually received a lot of compliments once I'd had the fragrance on my skin for 3 or 4+ hours. So for me, again, personally speaking, I think this one performs just fine. 7+ hours longevity, pretty good projection. And one other thing to keep in mind about performance, y'all, we often think of performance in comparison to other fragrances released within a specific lineup or from a specific brand, which I think is regular, right? But we also have to keep in mind that we're doing so, right? So situation like this, comparing Spicebomb Dark Leather to Spicebomb Extreme. Spicebomb Extreme is definitely more loud, more in your face, and I think that's one of the reasons why I appreciate, Spicebomb Dark Leather. Is a little more subtle, reserved, but nonetheless, like I said, still has really good performance when thinking about performance in general across the board, not just in comparison to any specific fragrances within the Spicebomb lineup specifically. So always will say this, time and place for everything, right? There's a time and place where I want, maybe a fragrance that's a little more loud, a little more projecting, a bit more in your face. You want to get noticed, but oftentimes, for me at least, I like things that maybe sit a little closer. Definitely, you can still smell, still pick up on, will still get you compliments, but not obnoxious, not cloying, and you don't have to be too mindful of, overspraying with just a few sprays. So I know you all are wondering, is this one worth picking up? For me, hands down, yes. I think this is a great release from last year, and it's one that has a really nice scent profile and DNA. And when comparing it to previous releases from Spicebomb, I think it's one that's going to come off less sweet, of course, but a little more mature, a little more refined, and you still have that mysterious and kind of alluring effect to it. All in all, again, to be a leather fragrance, I think it's one that's very approachable and very wearable. So if you're someone that's looking forward to picking up, a new fragrance, a new leather fragrance specifically in 2025, and maybe you're just getting your feet wet with leather fragrances, I think this might be one you want to add to your list to definitely check out. And if you're able to, y'all, I would definitely recommend picking this one up on the fragrance discounters because I think it hit most of them pretty recently. So if you're able to do that, I think it makes it that much of a better buy and almost a steal depending on the price you pay, because I'm telling you, as this one continues to sit, I think it's going to be one that, people really start coming back to. And, when we're looking at kind of fall winter list for 2025, so, months down the line, I think this one is going to, make its way, creep its way back in and be on a lot of those lists. So just feel like it's kind of slept on, but, we'll see. Only time will tell. So that wraps up today's review. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. I greatly appreciate your time. Have you tried Spicebomb Dark Leather yet? If so, leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and experience with it thus far. And if not, let me know if after watching this is something that you might be interested in picking up. And as always, until next time, peace and love.